So we're very happy to have Alanna Aguirre with us, and I'm just going to turn it over to you.
All right, great. Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being with you all this evening. I got asked to do this presentation. I know this is a support group for Parkinson's disease, and I got asked just to talk about occupational therapy or just therapy in general and Parkinson's disease. So I asked for a little bit more guidance on what exactly points you all wanted me to hit this evening. And so mainly the feedback I received is what is occupational therapy? And then also what would be beneficial for patients with Parkinson's disease when it comes to physical activity and also workplace accommodations. So
That
whenever I
sounds,
create
yeah, that sounds great.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Whenever I created the presentation, that's pretty much all that I put in here because I really wanted to hit on those points. And then if you all have any other additional questions at the end of the presentation, I'm more than willing to answer those questions. Okay. And just to tell you a little bit about myself, I'm an occupational therapist. I've been in the industry for about 14 years now. Originally from Texas, I came here as a contract therapist after being in therapy management for a long time and started at Stanford. And then they convinced me to stay permanently. So here I am in California now. uh, so I somehow the Bay Area sucked me in, but that's a little bit of a background. I do work for Stanford Neuroscience Center, so primarily working with a lot of patients with Parkinson's. We work with a variety of patients with a variety of conditions, including Parkinson's disease, multiple sclerosis, stroke, um, just traumatic brain injuries. So we kind of see it all, a lot of neuromuscular diseases as well. So yeah, that's about me, but I'll go ahead and get started. I'm not really sure as far as this support group, what everybody's experience is with therapy and what experience you don't have with therapy. So I just wanted to add or just wanted to explain a little bit about occupational therapy and what we focus on in our clinic. We typically get referrals for our neurologists for our patients with Parkinson's disease if their condition has advanced in a way that is starting to impact their mobility, especially their fine motor skills, their ability to get dressed, if it impacts their ability to participate in work. We primarily focus on function. So whenever we speak with you and evaluate or complete our evaluation, we're looking at what things you need to be able to do independently or what things have become more challenging for you. So that's what we do in occupational therapy. We're primarily about restoring function in your activities of daily living. And that could be dressing, bathing, toileting, and then your instrumental activities of daily living, which is working, driving, just doing some things outside the home. So we get pretty personal and ask a lot of questions about what's challenging for you. And then we try to come up with solutions and also exercise programs to improve these areas. And I do want to point out that not only are we just addressing physical limitations, but we also look a lot. We are also assessing any cognitive limitations that there and weaknesses that there might be. So that is something we also address in our specific therapy. Our speech language pathologists are also in charge, not in charge, but they also address cognitive um, deficits and their treatment interventions, but we just kind of treat it differently. And they, of course, they also address language. But in a nutshell, that's what we do in occupational therapy whenever we're working with our patients with Parkinson's disease. Our areas, so just to be more specific, our areas of focus are daily tasks. I kind of touched on that a little bit. Fatigue and energy conservation. We talk to our patients a lot about activity pacing, conserving their energy throughout the day, how to do that at work, how to do that at home if they're caring for children or just doing general household chores. Also cognitive skills, fine and gross motor skills if our patients have tremors from benign to pretty significant. We talk about adaptive equipment. We also look at home modifications and safety. If there's any equipment that we feel might be beneficial for our patients, just to make it more make their mobility more safe or bathing more safe, then we'll talk about equipment. And then we have patients who or physicians who becomes concerned about their patients driving in the community, and so every now and then we will have referrals from neurologists requesting driving evaluations for our patients. We do have a driving simulator, and then we kind of go through some visual cognitive tasks. And then I mentioned adaptive equipment. And then also we do a lot of education, the benefits of physical activity. We talk about energy conservation, home safety. So that's pretty much the areas of focus whenever it comes to addressing Parkinson's disease in our clinic.
And you need a referral to see to
That's a good
be
question.
seen.
Yes. Yeah. And that's just standard by law. Just in
Mm,
order, yeah, just a license standard, we do require a referral. And in order to be seen at the Neuroscience Center, they do require a referral from a neurologist.
okay.
Yeah, we do receive we do take external referrals. We have patients that come from Sutter Health and different hospital organizations in the area. Most of them come from Stanford, but we do accept some external referrals as well. But it does
Okay.
have to come from neurology.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, good question.
So should
Um,
I start sharing?
you can. You're more than welcome
Okay.
to.
Okay.
I'm kind of just glancing at mine every now and then.
Yeah. Let's see.
So next slide is going to be. I'm just going to briefly touch on the PT role in Parkinson's disease.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, if you'll go to the next slide.
This one or the next one?
The next one. Yeah.
Give me 1 second.
Mhm.
How's
So
that?
that's correct. Thank you.
Okay. Good.
So I couldn't leave physical therapy out because they're a very integral part as well. And physical therapy, their areas of focus are going to be primarily the physical limitations. So mobility, flexibility, balance, and fall prevention is really huge. As you know, that some of our patients with Parkinson's disease their limitations will progress with time sometimes. And so our main concern is the safety in the home and in the community. And so fall prevention is a huge part of our discussions in each session if there is a gait impairment. Work on balance, strengthening functional skills training. So going back to function, what do our patients need to be able to do on a daily basis? And then also pain management. So those are just a brief overview of what OT and PT does whenever or how we approach treating our patients with Parkinson's disease. Was there any questions about that?
You mentioned that something about adaptive uh, devices for tremor or something
Mhm.
about tremor. What kind of things do you are you talking about?
So whenever we have patients that come in with hand tremors, sometimes it's a very just light, subtle tremor, and it's not too impactful on people's overall fine motor function. But whenever it's a tremor such that it starts limiting someone's independence to eat, or I
Mm,
have patients that will stop going out to eat at restaurants because they're a little uncomfortable with the hand shaking. So we talk about different tools out there like weighted utensils to help kind of
mm,
weigh down the hand and reduce the tremor. It doesn't necessarily take away the tremor, but may help reduce the tremor.
mhm,
There's different types of adaptive plates out there. So whenever you're scooping your food, if you have a hand trimmer and you're scooping your food, it could be really hard if there's no barrier on the outside of the plates. Food might spill
mm,
over.
right.
And so there's, oh gosh, I just I just went blank. Plate guard. Yeah, it's called a plate guard. So there's
Mm,
typically a set of tools that I show all my patients, and it's weighted utensils, a plate guard, and then also there's adaptive cups out there too. It's amazing what you'll find on Amazon. You don't necessarily
mm,
have to go to a website that has all of this type of medical equipment only. No, on Amazon you can find quite a bit of stuff. And so there's adaptive cups out there that help reduce the demand, the fine motor demand, so you can hold it with two hands. They're bigger. There's long straws out there as well. So those are the types of equipment that I
mm.
would be referring to.
Are
Yeah.
there any like adaptive computer equipment, like for a mouse that reduces tremor, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I was actually under workplace accommodations. I was going to discuss that, like what might be
Oh,
helpful. It's very patient specific. I just had my own ergonomic evaluation the other day just to change my setup, and there's just so many different mouses out there
mm,
these days, and the keyboards too also vary. But we can talk about that briefly
okay,
whenever we get to that point.
great,
But yeah, great,
thanks.
great questions about the adaptive equipment. I did put all of that in there just because I understand that there are a lot of patients who don't yet want or need adaptive equipment at this point. But just so you know that there is a lot of things out there, and I should even touch on other things like a button hook for buttoning buttons if you have limited fine motor function. There are also, if you're having difficulty tying your shoelaces, there's adaptive shoelaces. So there's definitely,
Mm,
if you're having trouble with something, we can definitely. I'm pretty adamant that we can find you some type of tool that can make things easier. I will say that weighted utensils, it doesn't always benefit all patients. Some people tend to like it, but the adaptive utensils, they come anywhere from like 5 ounces to 7 ounces. And so they can go from light to really, pretty heavy for a standard utensil. And some people like it and some people don't. I've had a patient take
mhm,
out a nice set she got on Amazon. They make it look, there's some out there that look like standard utensils, silver utensils, and she takes those out to dinner whenever she goes out to
mhm.
eat with friends.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
thanks.
Sure. Any more questions or should I move on? All right. So I couldn't do this presentation without also talking about the benefits of physical activity. So, and I'm sure that as you learned about this condition, physical activity is huge, and I'm sure you've been told the benefits about the benefits of physical activity and how this can reduce or I'm sorry, it can reduce the progression of the condition. And also improve cognitive function. So I added a slide on here. Just there's a couple, I put a reference in here of a research article that they did, but just in short, activity has been shown to improve both motor and non-motor symptoms in Parkinson's disease. And so whenever they started this research, the Parkinson's Foundation and sports medicine, it was the American College of Sports Medicine, they got together and started developing exercise guidelines for patients with Parkinson's disease. And so they definitely found that there's an improvement in cognition and a slower progression of the condition. And they also found that it promotes neuroprotection. So, which neuroprotection is basically the ability of a treatment to preserve the neurons in the brain from deteriorating. And so this can pretty much
Ah,
I'm sorry.
I see.
So this can slow down or halt the progression of diseases like Parkinson's disease. And so that's probably why you hear so much about how important exercise is for this patient population. And there's a lot of group exercise groups out there in some of our communities around the United States that are built specifically for patients with Parkinson's disease, because there's so much research that's backing this. The research that I studied here, basically, just to sum it up, it says regular physical activity and moderate to vigorous exercise levels at baseline did not significantly affect the subsequent clinical progression of Parkinson's. However, average regular overall physical activity levels over time were significantly associated with slower deterioration of postural and gait instability, activities of daily living, and processing speed in patients with Parkinson's disease. And whenever I wanted to, I always go to the research and what's out there whenever we're making recommendations for our patients. So I was curious about, okay, what exercise guideline? I was curious if they've updated the exercise guidelines. So I went to, you'll see in the top right hand corner, there's there's a sheet here a little graphic that they've created for patients. And these are the exercise recommendations for patients with Parkinson's disease. And this was developed by the Parkinson's Foundation and the American College of Sports Medicine. If you go on to the next slide, it kind of summarizes what their recommendations are. And I'm not sure, are there people in this group that are familiar with the Parkinson's Foundation or been to the website?
Not lately.
Okay.
Yes.
Just so you know, there's a lot of great information on there. I think they even have a snippet on there about accommodations as well. There's a lot of information on exercise equipment. I think they do they do a good job of also providing research if you're interested in any of those research articles. But as far as the exercise guidelines, they say that 3 days a week of aerobic activity for at least 30 minutes per session of continuous or intermittent movement is most beneficial. And this is at a moderate or vigorous intensity. So we usually talk to our patients about what equipment they have at home. What do they have access to? Because not everybody has access to a stationary bike or a treadmill. So we try to find ways that our patients can participate in exercise if they're able. We have some patients that just aren't able to do this level of aerobic activity, but in the early stages, we do highly encourage at least aerobic activity at least 3 days a week for 30 minutes. And then also strength training, they say 2 to 3 non-consecutive days per week of at least 30 minutes per session for strength training for the major muscle groups. And then whenever it comes to balance, agility, and multitasking, they say 2 to 3 days per week to just working on balance exercises and daily integration into your everyday tasks. So finding ways that you can challenge your balance in a safe way, of course. And then stretching, just to reduce any stiffness or rigidity. They recommend 2 to 3 days per week, with daily stretching being the most effective. And you can go to the Parkinson's Foundation website and find this infographic, or you can just do a Google search and type in exercise guidelines for Parkinson's disease. Any questions about that?
Is the strength training weights, or is that with just using your body?
It could be both. So I did, yeah. Whenever that's a really good question. It could be weights. Some of now, if you look at the research, they have the participants do all weights, and only specific exercises, right? Because they don't want to skew any results and want it to be very specific as far as the type of exercise. So the ones I have found have been weight training, but I think resistive exercise bands are just as beneficial. I think body weight as well. So like planks is a good exercise, push-ups, things like that. Yeah,
Okay.
good question.
Thanks.
I think as long as you're challenging your muscle, the large muscle groups, then I try not to be too specific about what my patients need to do, only because some people do not like doing weights at all. So I always try to find something that my patients are willing to do, and then ease them into it. We might start off with resistive exercise bands, and then we might eventually progress to weights once they feel comfortable with the techniques for lifting weights.
Great.
As far as, and then on the next slide, I added another research that was done on aerobic exercise in Parkinson's disease. And this study here suggests that aerobic exercise, unlike stretching, led to functional and structural change and the balance of connectivity towards the anterior putamen, I believe, of the brain of people with Parkinson's disease. And basically that area is involved in lower and learning and motor control and voluntary movement. So they actually saw definitely enhanced enhanced connectivity in this area and involvement in this area whenever patients were consistently participating in aerobic exercise. So you have an anterior and a posterior, not to get too deep in it, but you have anterior and posterior, and they saw that the anterior is still was firing during exercise like this, and it actually had an improvement in connectivity of that area. Okay. Any questions about that? Okay. All right. As far as workplace accommodations, so very, very specific to each individual. I've had patients that don't need any workplace accommodations. And then I have some who just come to me for, if they have a tremor, they come to me for advice on adjusting their keyboard setup. Or if they're having difficulty typing, then we'll talk about alternatives to typing if they can no longer type. There are adaptive keyboards out there, but some patients find the adaptive keyboards hard to get used to because they have to type differently. So usually if my patients are having difficulty adjusting to an adaptive keyboard, I start talking to them about speech to text and text to speech as well. We start looking at some technology, some other technology, higher level technology, because adaptive keyboards is considered assistive technology. But whenever you go to speech to text, that's a little bit more higher than on the little spectrum. But anyway, so that's not everybody can use that function in their job, the speech to text. And so I definitely always recommend an ergonomic evaluation if your organization or business offers that. Not all organizations have that resource available, but if they can, an ergonomic evaluation is good. And then I do want to point out that if you're the minute you start experiencing limitations, I think it's really good. I think it's a really good idea to go ahead and start having those conversations with your management, or even you can talk to your human resources team to see who's the best person to talk to about getting accommodations. And you want to think about how these accommodations limit you at work, and how is it affecting your job performance? Because that's what they're going to make. That's what they're most concerned is how are these limitations affecting your job performance? Basically, we unfortunately have to prove why you need certain accommodations, right? And then also you can open up that conversation about what's possible, what things can you change, and what are they open to. I've had patients who experience fatigue middle of the day, and so maybe they might have a shortened work day, or patients with hand tremors and they can't keyboard as much as they used to. And so I've had patients where their teams have looked in ways where they can keyboard a little bit easier, and that might be offering them alternative keyboards or alternative mouses. And then there's the technology part that I mentioned too. So those, I would say, the keyboarding, the mousing are the biggest things that I've come across that patients typically are challenged with. And then also the fatigue too. I have patients that complain about that, and they're finding it hard to complete an 8-hour workday. And so unfortunately, there's some organizations that won't take direct accommodations from an occupational therapist.
Go outside.
Um, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Unfortunately, there are organizations who won't take accommodation recommendations straight from an occupational therapist or physical therapist. They'll ask for a physician's prescription for that. Since moving here to California, it's varied. Sometimes I don't know who to go to or who's doing what, but usually the patient will end up telling me, well, they said they need a doctor's prescription. And usually we'll connect, the occupational therapist will connect with the physician and talk about what we will talk about what our recommendations are. And then they'll help the patient facilitate that. And then we get a lot of patients from Stanford University, and I know that's a doctor's prescription. They don't take they don't take accommodation requests directly from the occupational therapist. It has to come directly from the physician. So again, it's case by case basis. And so it's really important, if you are having limitations, just to open up that conversation with your management team. Or if you don't feel comfortable doing that, I always tell my patients just to go to your human resources and get that conversation started so you can gain more information. And one of the resources that I put on here, I've been using it this past year. I think as a team, most of our team members have have provided this resource to our patients now multiple times. And did I put it on there? I did. Yeah, it's the Job Accommodations Network. I added the link in there, and they do a great job. I was going to show you all the website. I had it pulled up here, but if you go to this website, they have a list of disabilities from A to Z, and the amount of disabilities on here is just amazing. They've done a really good job, whether you have migraines, whether you have hand tremors, but Parkinson's in particular is on there. And so if you go to the website and you type in Parkinson's disease or go to the full list of A to Z disabilities, you can click on that link, and it'll give you a whole list. I'm going to pull it up right now just so I can kind of give you an idea of what they have on here, what information they offer.
We can't see your screen though.
No, yeah, that's why I said
Okay.
I'm gonna read off just kind of
Oh,
just so you
great.
have an idea. Yeah, so once you click on, once you select Parkinson's disease, they have accommodation ideas on here. So if you have decreased stamina and fatigue, they offer a whole list, like accessories for scooters, anti-fatigue, mattling, a low task chair, periodic rest breaks. These are all accommodations for supporting people who have decreased stamina and fatigue due to this condition. So that's one of the areas. Memory loss is also on here. So calendars, planners, electronic organizers, recorded directives, messages, and materials. I do have a lot of patients that I had one patient recently who did get this accommodation, and it's been great for this patient being able to record meetings, because this wasn't allowed in the meetings, but this patient wasn't able to recall some of the details of every meeting. And so they made this request and they got the request, but the organization wanted them to use the organization was just more particular about what app they were using to record the meeting, of course, for privacy. So that is a an accommodation that's used, and a lot of my students use that as well that have other conditions that impact their memory function. And then also other accommodation ideas that are on here are other areas they include is overall body coordination, body weakness, spasms, stress intolerance, taking medication, if you have to step away from your desk to take medication at certain times, or if you need to work alone for certain reasons, that's also on here as well. So they have a pretty full list of accommodation ideas by limitations, which is very helpful, because I do believe our patients need guidance on what to ask for. And some patients just don't, a lot of, I would say a lot of the majority of our patients just don't know what to ask or who to ask or how to start that conversation. So I believe this particular organization does a great job in helping, helping giving you giving help helping and giving our patients some direction and what to speak to their management about. And then also they have accommodation ideas for work related functions. So if you're commuting or off-site access for your job, parking, safety standards, work site access, they have accommodation ideas for each of these areas as well. And that resource is Job Accommodation Network. Mhm. All right. And I think that is it. That's pretty much what I had. I tried to address everything that was asked of me. Hopefully that was some good information for you all.
That's really helpful. That job accommodations website sounds really good.
Yeah, it's great. It's been helpful, I know, for us, whenever we are making recommendations and just writing letters if needed, if that's a request of us. We typically try to go to this website just for kind of guidance. That way we make sure we're addressing all the limitations and making sure that we're not asking for anything that's out of the norm, that it's completely,
Mhm.
valid. Yeah.
Have you heard or dealt with anyone that's used these eye trackers? It's like when you can't use a mouse, you sort of use control the pointer with your eyes.
I would say the only time, and just to be honest, the only time I've used those devices with patients, I used to work in spinal cord injury. I did that for many
Mm,
years, and so my patients with quadriplegia, I would typically get an assistive technologist involved, and they would eventually be trained on these eye tracking systems in order to communicate on their computers and call
mhm.
people. So that is the only time, I really haven't seen that since working here at my clinic. Um, yeah, but I have seen it. I mean, there's a lot of technology out there now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I have the impression it's not quite, yeah, it's not quite easy enough to use yet to be useful for somebody with just a tremor.
Yeah, I agree. And a lot of these devices do require a lot of training. And so you
Yeah.
have to have someone who has the stamina to do this on a daily basis to learn the device. And I think a lot of these higher level technology devices are great, but it requires usually requires a great deal of training and patience,
Right.
to learn how to use this type of technology. But I think it's great because we're headed in the right direction for future development.
Sure.
Can you talk a little about gait training? What is that? Is that for like walking or running or?
Yeah, so gait training is for walking. Yeah, so our patients who have any gait instability, um, a lot of our patients, they might start shuffling a little bit, or their steps become smaller. And our physical therapists train patients on how to increase their step length, also improve their posture. That way, it improves their gait. Our patients begin to forward flex a little bit when walking, and so that decreases your periphery. I guess your peripheral visual field a little bit, and so that's what results in falls is whenever our patients, or that's one of the thing, a risk for falls is whenever our patients are stooped forward and their step lengths are very short. Because they're not seeing everything in front of them turning from left to right, and then their steps are a little bit shorter. Our physical therapists train patients how to increase their step length and also improve their posture to improve their peripheral visual field when walking.
Great, thank you.
Can you discuss, like, when I mouse, I oftentimes go beyond what I need to do. Like, I kind of have to do a lot of manipulating to get to the right point on things that you have to click on something. Are there things you can do with it, just with the computer, to make it better?
Yeah, so you can actually adjust your mouse settings. I don't know if you've tried that, but you can, if you have a Bluetooth mouse, you're going to log into the mouse settings on your Bluetooth, and you can decrease the sensitivity on there.
Okay.
I think it's called GPI, or I forgot what mine is. I just adjusted mine recently. But if you're kind of overshooting whenever you're selecting links, or just because of a trimmer, you not may not be um, may not, or you may have trouble selecting certain things on the screen, you can go to the mouse settings and see if you can adjust that. You can adjust the scroll, and then you can adjust the sensitivity whenever you click and move it around.
Good.
Jenny, before I had my DBS, I found an app.
Uh-huh.
It was like $20, but it let you set, it was specifically for mouse for people with Parkinson's.
Wow.
And it had some kind of filter on it. So it would move, I don't know, it would kind of slow it down a little bit. And
Oh,
I found it quite helpful. And it would, yeah, I can't remember how it worked exactly, but I remember I found it pretty helpful.
good. Thank you.
Yeah,
And
if I can, I'll dig up that link.
and John, I'm sorry, can you repeat what that was? You kind of broke up whenever you said you.
Well, I don't remember what it was called, but somebody pointed me to it. It was an app for Windows. It was about $20, and it was specifically for a mouse with Parkinson's.
Oh, okay.
I'll yeah, let me see if I can find. I'll send you, and I'll post it. Some
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
I didn't mention phone use, and that is huge for our patients now.
Oh,
A lot of things are done on the phone, whether it be personal or work related. And so I will, whenever I work with my patients, I won't only ask them about work. I'll say, well, how about your phone? And they go, oh, yeah, that's right. I do send a lot of emails on my phone. I am having trouble using my phone now. And so I'll look at their phone and see how it's set up, and see if we need to enlarge the keyboard, if we need to enlarge the text. And so there's different things, or just suggest maybe a little bit of a larger device for them, or maybe some of them might revert to using a stylus versus using their finger to select letters on the keyboard. And there's also, I'm hope I'm not overloading you all. And there's also settings in. I know iOS. I'm sorry, I'm not an Android user. I'm an Apple user, so I'm more familiar with the accessibility settings on those phones. But you can also just explore the accessibility settings in the Apple on an Apple phone, and they do have some settings in there if you have decreased fine motor function.
Can I ask I'm going to ask a different question, but
Mhm.
are there things that you see people with Parkinson's with, that they come in for, or maybe even that's what they came in for, but you identify it, that people didn't even know was related to their Parkinson's or didn't even know it was a problem? Are there certain things that you keep seeing more of that you are surprised they hadn't had it taken care of already, or?
Ooh, I think let me make sure I understood your question correctly. So maybe in an evaluation, if I'm speaking with a patient, do I identify maybe a weakness or limitation they might have that maybe wasn't they really don't feel they have, or nothing was said about it, or
Yeah,
it,
kinda like that, or like, sometimes I think things happen so slowly that we don't realize
mm-hmm,
they're having a problem,
mm-hmm.
but you recognize it in some of the patients?
I do. There are certain things. I would say cognitive function would be one of them. And usually, my patients, once we start talking about that, I have a lot of patients who will just deny any impairment, and I say deny, but not in a negative way. They'll just say, "No, I'm perfectly fine. I don't think I'm having any issues." But if there's a family member there, I usually get a look like, I think there are some issues. So then I have to kind of, gracefully enter into that conversation, because if that's an issue, it can start impacting other areas like their fall risk safety. It can impact their work, and so I dig a little bit deeper to see if it's something that we do need to indeed address in therapy. But I think cognition isn't one that stands out very quickly in my experience. Usually we start talk as I start talking with patients about just their daily function and what's hard for them. I start pulling away the layers and realizing that some of this might isn't just a physical component. There's also some cognitive, definitely a cognitive component as well. Yeah. And then fatigue, I would say fatigue is also another one.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
So I found the mouse software.
Mhm.
It's called steadymouse.com,
Oh, okay. Let me check that out.
and it's gone up. It's now 43 bucks.
Oh.
And if you want like a lifetime, that's like, one version. And then if you pay like 120 bucks, then you get every new update. So it's gotten a bit more expensive, but it was pretty good.
Oh, okay. Anti-tremor filtering to remove shaking motion.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That was a big thing because, I would be using the mouse and the cursor would be going
Mm-hmm.
crazy and it filters that out.
Oh, that's great. I have to look into this a little bit more.
Also, I remember when I first was diagnosed with Parkinson's, there was an article about a company that makes a spoon that adjusts to
Oh
try
yeah, I
to lift or
try.
something like that. Can't remember what it was called.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there was one, right. It was I think it was called anyway, it was made by Intel,
Oh, wow.
Mm.
but Google bought them out. Liftware, that was it, Liftware.
Do you know
And
if it's still available or if people found it to be helpful?
I bought one, and for me, my tremor got so bad that it was not it didn't work. I mean, there's nothing that could have counteracted it.
I shouldn't laugh.
But
Was it a device that lifted the fork for you,
it had active
or a spoon?
servoing. So
Ah,
it had an active servo motor, so it would sense your motion and counteract the motion.
okay.
And for small tremors, it actually was pretty effective. But if it got too wild, it just couldn't handle it.
Yeah, I agree. I think whenever the tremors get severe and they're continuous, there's no kind of downtime. um it is hard to select equipment at that point. It's
Yeah,
like I said, some adaptive equipment is beneficial for patients and some isn't, but there's a lot of different things out there on the market, as just even based on our discussions this evening, you can see that there's
right,
other things out there. Yeah,
right.
there's oh, go ahead.
Yeah, you mentioned the phone, and so I was going to ask, like, that's very interesting. When my tremor's bad, like I can't do anything on the phone. I mean, everything requires typing. I mean, doing a map search,
Yeah.
and then a lot of times the it makes me re-enter my keyword, my password,
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff is just a pain. Or banking.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so is there like a way to sort of uniformly enlarge the screen for everything on an iPhone?
I think, even with that screen enlargement, it can still be laborious
Hmm.
if you have as you know, if you have a significant tremor. Usually I break down the areas I address. So I tell my patients, okay, what are you using on your phone most of the day?
Hmm.
Like, are you using your email? Yes, I'm sending emails for work on a regular basis. Great. Pull up your email, and then we're gonna work. I want you to practice using the microphone for developing an email in your Gmail. Okay, easy,
Right.
because now speech to text is that feature is
Right.
embedded in a lot of programs. You can do
Yeah. Yeah.
this
That one's
embedded in.
good.
Yeah, so I'll train them on how to compose an email using speech to text, sending a text message using speech to text. And then lately, the other day, I was training a patient on how to write. They said they needed to write these long emails, but they are noticing errors or they're repeating words and they don't realize they're repeating words. So I said, okay, let's just put this in Notes, which is just an app on the iPhone. And again,
Mhm.
I'm sorry that I'm biased to iPhone only because that's what I have most of my experience with. But I said, let's put this in Notes, and then we'll use the AI. We'll use good old AI to help us out here. And so that's what we did. I said, let's do speech to text. And so I had them write down what they, or I had them talk what they
Mhm.
wanted it to say. And then we went in, and there's now an Apple Intelligence feature in the iPhone. If you not download, but if you activate the Apple Intelligence in your phone, you'll get all of the AI tools. um the AI tools will pop up in that notes section, so you can do proofreading. It will completely it'll completely redo the entire thing in your words, but in a more, like, if you want it more professional, if you want it more concise, if you want it to sound more friendly, if you want it to sound. So I showed them that. I said, let this, maybe use this feature to help you develop some of your emails that you're spending 30-40 minutes on. Maybe do your speech to text and see if it can help you, do the proofreading. And then also, if you feel like it doesn't sound as great as your emails used to sound, then maybe just click on that professional button and have it populate, a little bit of new verbiage for you.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah. I really like it. I've used it personally for developing my own emails here and there, because I like to just see how these new things work, especially with technology, to see if they would be beneficial for my patients. And so, so far, I've had really good feedback from my patients that use their phone pretty frequently. Now, as far as the banking, that's kind of that's kind of hard, because you got to log in, and you can't. That's harder to use the speech to text. But I think in these specific apps where um, you're just doing letters and not numbers, or not too many symbols, I really think that you can use the microphone feature for dictation. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
And
Okay.
then what else on the phone did I discover recently? Um, I don't know. I mean, you could change the background color too, which that doesn't really. I mean, usually, like, my stroke patients that have visual issues, I'll recommend that for them. That way, they can see text a little bit better. So that may not so much be something that you're interested in, but I don't know. It could kind of decrease that cognitive demand whenever you're trying to
Hmm.
select certain letters. Um, I think that's about it. Text messaging, email. As far as other applications, yeah, it just kind of depends how those applications are set up and what they allow for.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you enlarge the keyboard? Are they so like for when you're putting in um like when you're trying to type with your finger, if you wanted to, because some things won't let you not use a finger or not use It
Yeah, I
and
was
under
wondering that.
settings,
How do you enlarge the keyboard on the screen?
yeah.
Let me let me pull up my settings right here. And so whenever they did this last update, I had to kind of find, so there is the keyboard used to be by itself, but I think now it's under general. Give me just a sec.
Keyboard, yep, it's under.
Yeah, keyboard's under, so keyboard is gonna be under general. But I think in that section, it just allows you to put everything in uppercase, I believe. Have you all converted your keyboard to uppercase?
No, I didn't know
Okay.
about that.
Yeah, you can do that. Let's see. You could do that under keyboards, I believe. I just did it for a patient the other day, and I just noticed things had been moved around.
Hmm.
I can send that out just for time purposes, but
Okay.
you can
Sure.
convert if you want to just do a little playing around this evening. You can. There is a way you can convert all your fonts to all uppercase, or not fonts, but lettering.
And can I ask, you mentioned this Apple Intelligence. Do you know, is that a function of the OS?
Yes.
Or so
Mhm.
even it doesn't have to be like the latest phone.
I don't think so. I want to say that I received the Apple Intelligence. I forgot how many updates ago. It's been within the last year, but it doesn't matter what. As long your phone, I think, has to be really old for it not to accept an update. So I
Okay.
I think you should be okay if you don't see Apple Intelli for the newer phones. The Apple Intelligence is located under the settings. So
Okay.
if you
Okay.
go to yeah,
What
I'll
do you
look for
go under settings? What do you go to?
Apple Intelligence and Siri.
Okay.
Is it under Siri or in and Siri?
It's
Let
and
me
Siri.
and Siri. Okay. Thanks. So yeah, I'll play with
Well, I have
that. That
Siri, but it doesn't say anything about Alpha Intelligence.
maybe it's the not the latest operating system.
Yeah, I'll have
Yeah, you do have to have the latest operating system to for that to populate on your phone. Because I know my patient didn't have it, and I asked them if they had updated, and they said they hadn't updated their phone in a while. So I figured that's probably why it wasn't listed in their settings.
because mine got automatically updated a few days ago, I think.
Hmm.
Oh,
Maybe not everything. I don't know.
um, let's see.
I'll figure.
Yes,
It out.
and I know whenever I activated theirs, or I helped them activate theirs,
Mhm.
Um, I think they weren't seeing it at first. So what we did was an update, and then there was something that it didn't populate for like another like hour or so. It almost had to like download to the system or something. So I don't know fully the technology behind it, but I know you should, as long as you have an up to date, as long as you're up to date, you should have it.
Okay, I just Googled this. So it's not supported on iPhone 14, but it is on 15 Pro, 15 Pro
Ah,
I have
Max, and
14, bummer.
16. Yeah, I do too, I think. Maybe
oh
it's time to get a
no,
new
sorry.
phone. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was thinking that it was supported on, I thought it was supported on even a
Yeah,
little bit.
usually if it accepts the new iOS, you would think it would
Yeah.
take it, but
It's on
oh
Okay.
my
well.
14 Pro. It's on my 14 Pro.
But not 14.
Mm.
I don't have a Pro.
Oh, is
Well,
it?
I see. That's interesting. Huh. It doesn't mention the 14 Pro here.
Oh, no, it was there smiling at me.
Okay. All right. Well, good.
But there might be other applications you can download.
Yeah,
And I'm not.
that's true.
I haven't tried any applications outside of Stanford's AI tools that we have, since they're secure. I haven't downloaded anything to my phone, but of course, there's a lot of different Chat GPT and yeah, different AI tools out there that you can download to your phone that I'm sure can do the same thing.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Maybe so unless there are any last questions, we will thank our speaker again and yeah, thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Oh, you're welcome. I
Uh,
appreciate y'all's great questions, and I appreciate you being here, and thank you for the opportunity. And John, thank you for your patience. Sorry, I'm not sure what was
oh, no
happening with
problem.
yeah.
So I will email Robin the presentation and she could put it up on the website if that's yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, if
Sure.
that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. And I believe I got asked to attend another group maybe sometime in September. So if I need to add anything, or if there's any feedback from this evening that you all would like me to emphasize, if there's any points you would like me to emphasize on or add to the presentation, please let me know and I can add that in for the next one.
Oh, great.
Where do we find that
Mm.
graphic that you showed that had the aerobic exercise and the different types of?
That's you're going to go to the Parkinson's Foundation website and just type in Parkinson's Foundation, and then you can just search exercise guidelines.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And if you don't find it there, I mean, you should. It's a pretty easy website to navigate. You could always just Google exercise guidelines for Parkinson's disease. And then you'll see the research articles. And then also, Parkinson's Foundation will be one of the first links you should see.
Do you know if they have like a sliding scale as your um progression?
I looked a little bit deeper into how they came about with the how they came about the developing these exercise guidelines, and I believe on the Parkinson's Foundation website they actually have a full kind of like the research and the details of the research on there. I don't know if they have a sliding scale, but they do point out, even whenever you read some of the articles, they do say that some specific patients aren't able to tolerate strength training exercise based on the progression of their condition. So if they're in a state where their condition has progressed pretty severely, then strength training may not be beneficial, but aerobic activity might still be doable. I don't know if that's helpful, but they do point out some things like that on there.
Okay, great.
I'll put in a plug for Rock Steady Boxing. I've started going to that and that seems very good. They have people at all levels and
Mhm.
it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I have quite a few patients that attend that group. They love it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
They say, especially group exercise. I don't think I added that research on here, but I didn't see too many articles on that. But they say exercise is beneficial, but group exercise is even better. And most likely that could be the motivation component too. Whenever you're exercising around other individuals, it still is slightly.
Yeah,
Patients are going to be more open to to
right.
to doing it. So
And there's
Something
kind of a social component too.
yeah, social component. Yeah.
I wanted to share with the group something my wife and I kind of tried out was line dancing,
Oh,
country
that's
country
awesome.
line
Oh,
dancing. Yeah, it's a lot of fun and all different levels too, advanced, beginner.
Oh, that's great. I
that
think, yeah, especially for cognitive function and you having to recall steps and yeah, that's great. That's awesome.
And that is for people just with Parkinson's?
No, this is pretty much for anyone. There's a good
Okay.
place. I think it's called Coyote. It's in a golf course place. I think it's in
Coyote Hills.
Oh, okay.
It's at a
Is it
golf
in
club.
is it in San Mateo?
Yes.
Yes, one of the physical therapists actually just told me about that. She said it was line dancing every Thursday or something. I'm not
Yes.
sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, okay.
It's $10 to get in. It's kind of an older crowd, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, there's young kids there too, and they teach you kind of all abilities, all different steps, and like you had mentioned it, the cognitive function, like having to remember the steps and your body actually doing the steps and having to make movements. It was fun. It was challenging. I had a great time doing it. So I just thought I'd share it. It's worth a try. I really think so.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. And if I come across any other things in the community, I'm not too new to the Bay Area, but I'm still kind of learning what organizations and support is out there for our patients with Parkinson's disease here in this area. But if I come across anything, I'll shoot that to you, John.
Okay, that'd be great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's
Right.
line dancing in Los Gatos too.
Okay.
Yeah, my wife, we've been there too. My wife's she's kind of checked out all the different spots, but I would definitely say the Los Gatos may be more advanced and it's kind of more like a bar scene. The one in Coyote Hills, it's very well lit. It's kind of older crowd. I felt that was more of a beginner pace, and I enjoyed that one kind of a little bit more because I guess it was easier for me to pick up the steps. Yeah, but yeah,
And you said that's San Mateo?
it's called Coyote Point. My wife just reminded me.
Oh, Coyote Point. Right,
Coyote
right.
Point.
It
It's a
sounds
$10.
like. Okay.
Go ahead.
I was going to say it sounds like you all need to have a support group at the line dancing.
Right, right.
Oh, we ought to do that. That'd be fun.
It would be fun.
I was trying to find. I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you mentioned. The person who mentioned the sliding scale. I'm trying to find this not article, but that download that was super helpful. If I come across it, it might be saved on my work computer. I'll send it to John and maybe just send it to you and have him send it to you all if that's helpful.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you all. Have a good evening. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.